We're talking to Tim Wu, the author of The Attention Merchants, the epic scramble to get inside our heads. With the advent of mass media in the 1830s, there was a battle in New York City for newspaper dominance. The first newspapers charged a penny. Actually, the first newspapers charged like 20 cents. They were the expensive paywall newspapers. Then along comes Benjamin Day, who says, "Oh, hey, we could just charge a penny, but make it up in advertising." That was kind of a brilliant insight. And then a war began.
More than brilliant. Can I interrupt you and say
please,
that was the invention of your entire business model?
Yeah, that was it.
Colossal. That was a huge moment. That should be remembered like the Wright brothers in the airplane. I mean, he invented ad-supported media in this moment, and the world's never been the same since. Whether it's Facebook, Google, this show, ESPN, you name it. So that was more than a nifty little invention. I just want to say that right here.
But what you also point out is once you get in this position of doing that, giving away the newspaper, making it up in attention, there is this tendency toward this downward spiral because you have to chase the attention, and the ante is continually up. So a few years later, a competitor, that came along the Herald, and then the Sun, which was the original, in 1835, upped the ante with fake news. They ran a headline story, they said, reprinted from an Edinburgh newspaper, of astronomical discoveries by the famous scientist Sir John Herschel. Herschel was in fact a famous scientist, but he's apparently, in this article, discovered people living on the moon. And the articles discovered great seas and canyons, pillars of red rock and lunar trees unlike any other, save the largest kinds of yews in English churchyards, which they in some respects resemble. But the greatest discovery was large winged creatures, when not borne aloft, could pass for humans. I mean, the ultimate fake news, and it was a sensation.
Absolutely. If your business model is engagement, the more interesting, the more engagement. And, back in 1835, how are you going to know that this report about man-bats on the moon wasn't true? Never retracted, I should add.
Never retracted.
Yes, still. I suppose the editors are still standing behind that story.
There are man-bats. Well, in fact,
I should also add, it was not a story; it was a 6-part series.
Yeah. So
in every episode, they got closer and closer to the man-bats, who I also add to, even make it more lurid, behaved like reality TV contestants. They were strong sexual appetites and like wild creatures. So they threw it all in there. Pretty soon, as you can see, the competition, when the competition is who can get the most attention, well, the battle goes to the most outlandish, at least in the short term. Over the long term, I think it's not quite as true. Sometimes people get sick of just straight out tabloid stuff. But at least in the short term, you can win by being more outlandish, crazy, interesting. And, we saw the election. A lot of that happened. You see it in television with some regularity.